of PJ Networks Computer Services. I am the PJ in PJ Networks. I've been doing this for 31 years as far as network engineering because I didn't find a trade until I was almost 30. I was a house painter. I was really good at it. It got boring after about a decade, so I decided back in the mid-90s to move to Santa Barbara, California, because I wanted to learn computers, and in Orange, Virginia in the mid-90s, there was nobody doing computer stuff. So I moved out there. I spent 10 years, 11 years there. I learned my trade. I came back and started my business in 2005. We just celebrated our 20th anniversary. There will be a quiz later. I did recently publish a book called The Consummate Network Engineer. It's not technical. It's called The Human Face of Technology because it explains the business relationship side of dealing with people, very much like the gentleman just gave a speech. It's about managing expectations. You're only as good as your word. A handshake is as good as a contract. Setting proper expectations. It's about a 350-page book, and there's maybe 10 pages of technical advice for young engineers, and the rest of it is how to manage your time, how to manage your clients, how to manage your projects. So there you go. That's the big plug for my book. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to do to lead in. Let me make sure that my little slideshow thing is working. Can I go forward? Yes. All right, so I'll try not to block the view from camera. I'm very proficient, by the way, of slipping on ice and fracturing bones, as my wife will tell you. So I think this is going to be fun because there's 3 10-minute segments that I've got. First one, we're going to talk about cybersecurity. I'm not going to do a deep dive into everything. There's a 60-page booklet we gave to everybody. If there's one thing you take from this, and it will be covered in this presentation, if you look at page 55, it says in bold letters, do not let anyone connect into your computer for any reason if you do not know them or have some way of positively confirming their identity. Call your bank, call the person back, email them. If everybody would follow that one rule, 50% of the data breaches that we have to deal with would never happen because people, they call a 1-800 number and the person's like, oh, I need to connect into your computer because your computer's infected. An hour later, all of their bank accounts have been drained. They bring the computer into our shop, little old ladies, life savings wiped out. I'm not kidding. So that's a big rule. But there's going to be a short video that's going to be presenting the core philosophies in this book. But I've given presentations that took more than an hour to go through to cover everything in here. But I figured it would be easier to give everybody the booklet, cover the highlights that are in there in a little video, and then we're going to move on to another really, really cool tool that I think most of the people here are going to immediately see some uses for. All right, so cybersecurity essentials and artificial intelligence. It doesn't have to be complicated. There are dozens of rules to follow, which are covered in this booklet, such as using multi-factor authentication for all of your online accounts, data encryption, using a business class firewall, employing best of class endpoint protection, such as SentinelOne. However, if you just follow a few basic guidelines, you can avoid most of the exploits and that can actually take a small business down. And I mean not just down, but down, like you're gone. Here's a little video I put together that I used a tool that I'm going to cover next in this presentation. So I did create it, but I used an assistant. But I'll let the video speak for itself. For whatever reason, the volume on the TV seems a little bit loud. And I played with the stupid remote for 10 minutes when I got here. And I kept, all it would ever do would switch me off of the right input. So it's going to be a little louder than I'd like. So it's not screaming, but it's a little loud.
If you can't figure out, none of us
Yeah. I was going to start pushing buttons on the TV, and I said no. So hopefully it won't be too loud.
Okay, let's talk about cybersecurity. But forget all the complicated jargon. This isn't just for the IT crowd anymore. It's for all of us. We're going to cut right through the noise and give you 3 super simple but incredibly powerful rules. These are the ones that can genuinely protect you from some of the nastiest scams out there. So you ready? Let's jump right in. So why is this stuff so important? Well, to really get it, we need to talk about what's at stake in the real world. Because, a cyber attack, it's not just some minor headache. For a lot of people, it's an absolute disaster. All right, look at this number, 60%. Just let that sink in for a second. If you're a small business owner or you work for one, this number is, honestly, it's terrifying. It's the difference between keeping the doors open and shutting down for good. Yeah, 60%. That's how many small businesses go under within just 6 months of a cyber attack. The source material is really clear on this. It's basically a business-ending event. We're not talking about losing a spreadsheet here. We're talking about losing your entire company, everything. And here's the crazy part. The thing you absolutely have to understand is that this isn't really about fighting some super complex computer code. It's about outsmarting psychological tricks. See, the best scammers aren't hacking your computer. Not really. They're hacking you. They're playing on our emotions, our trust, our fear, that little panic button in our brain. That's their real target. Okay, so that brings us to our first rule, our first major line of defense. And honestly, if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, make it this one. It's that important. And the rule is simple. Do not let anyone connected to your computer. I mean it. Unless
Page
you personally know the
55.
person on the other end of the line, and you are 100% sure it's them, you just don't do it. No exceptions. Ever. Because here's how the scam works, right? They'll call you pretending to be from Microsoft, or your bank, or some other company you trust. They cook up this fake emergency. Oh no, you've got a virus, or there's a problem with your account. And their whole goal is to make you panic. Because when you panic, you give them control. And once they're in your machine, it's pretty much game over. Okay, but what if that fake crisis doesn't come from a phone call? What if it just pops up right on your screen? Well, that leads us straight into rule number 2. So you're just minding your own business, maybe browsing online, and then bam, your whole screen gets hijacked by this massive, terrifying warning. It's probably flashing red, maybe there's even a loud alarm sound. It's all designed to do one thing and one thing only, to completely bypass your logical brain and send you straight into panic mode. And this is a perfect example of what it might look like. See how it uses official looking logos? Maybe it says it's from Microsoft or Apple. It'll say something scary like critical threat detected. And then right there is a big, friendly looking phone number to call for help. Okay, this is the key. Whatever you do, do not call that number. I'm going to say it again. Do not call that number. Calling that number is like getting a letter from a burglar that says, please call me so I can rob you, and then picking up the phone. You are literally connecting yourself directly to the scammer. So what do? It's actually super simple, and it completely cuts them out of the loop. Step 1, just turn off your computer. Don't click anything on the pop-up, just hold down the power button. Step 2, give it a minute, let it sit, then turn it back on. 9 times out of 10, that scary warning, it's gone. Now, if you're still worried there might be a problem, you can take a third step. Look up the company's official phone number yourself. Go to their real website, Microsoft.com, Apple.com, whatever, and use the contact number you find there. Never the one in the pop-up. All right, rule number 3. This one builds on exactly what we've just been talking about, spotting fakes. We've handled the scary pop-ups. Now let's talk about the scams that land right in your email inbox. So phishing emails use the exact same playbook as those pop-up alerts. It's all about psychological pressure. The email will look like it's from someone you trust, your bank, maybe Netflix, or even your boss. And it'll always have this sense of crazy urgency. You know the type. Urgent action required, or your account is about to be closed. They want you to click before you have a chance to think. But here's the cool part. It's actually really easy to spot the fakes when you know the tells. So let's look at this comparison here. On the left, a legit email. See how the sender is support@Microsoft.com? Makes sense. Now look at the scam on the right. The sender is natalie@ubaz.org.uk. What? Does that look like it's from a massive tech company? No way. And here's the other big giveaway. Before you ever click a link in an email, just hover your mouse over it for a second. Don't click, just hover. A little box will pop up showing you where that link really goes. And in a scam, it's usually some totally random, suspicious looking website. Just doing these 2 little checks can save you from a world of hurt. Okay, so we've got denying remote access, ignoring those fake alerts, and spotting phishing emails. 3 big rules, but how do you boil all that down into one simple mindset that you can use every single day? Well, it comes down to these 3 words. This is your ultimate defense. Just stop, look, think. Seriously, that's it. It's your secret weapon against pretty much all of these scams. Before you click that link, before you call that number, before you let that feeling of panic take over, just take a breath. Stop, look closely at the details, and think, does this actually make sense? So let's put it all together. Here are your 3 golden rules. 1, deny all requests for remote access out of the blue. 2, ignore those scary pop-ups and never ever call the number they give you. And 3, Inspect your emails for fake senders and weird links before you even think about clicking. The best part? None of this requires you to be a tech genius. It's not about software, it's about habits. It's just about taking that extra second caution. Because at the end of the day, real effective cybersecurity, it isn't about buying some fancy program. It's about how we act online. It's about our habits. You now have everything you need to spot these psychological traps. So the only real question left is, what's the first thing you're going to change? What's the one new habit you're going to start today? Because that decision right there, that's your strongest defense of all.
So every client that has a managed support plan with us, we put 5 to 7, sometimes 8 layers of security between them and the bad guys. Business class firewalls, Sentinel-1 endpoint protection, taking away administrative rights, all these layers. But I fear sometimes that it gives our clients a false sense of security because we can't prevent them from picking up the phone. If a pop-up pops up and it says call this number, we can't stop them. And so, or if somebody calls them and says, hey, this is Joe from Microsoft with a thick accent. This is Joe from Microsoft, and we've detected that you have a virus on your computer. I need you to go to this website and put in a key so that I can log in. Well, we can't stop anybody. Now, because we've removed the administrative rights from the computer, there's a very little chance that anybody remoting in can do anything on it as far as executing, but they can still look for credentials. People save credentials in Google all the time. Would you like us to save your password? As soon as they say yes, that becomes something that the hackers can grab. So it doesn't matter how many layers of protection we put in place, there's always going to be a way that they're going to get around it by freaking you out, by popping up. I've had those pop-ups happen. I've had this, as anybody else. You get the sirens going. It's enough to freak you out. So, and I've had clients call me right in the, I can hear in the background, and they're like, oh my God, what'd I do? Hold the power button down for 10 seconds. Okay, it's the computer off. All right, take a deep breath. Turn it back on. Open your browser. Call my team and have them do a quick virus scan, but there's almost nothing. It's not even infecting their computer. It's a fake pop-up. So don't panic. So when I was looking at my phone during the presentation, I was not checking my email. I wanted to, since I was given a little extra time to speak, there is one document or one thing I wanted to show everybody, if I can find it. See if I can find it. Okay, give me a second. I'll have it.
So while you're doing that,
Yep.
one of the scams that's gotten to be really popular working on a lot of realtors is people who are out of town clients
Yes.
saying that they want to set up a Zoom meeting to talk.
Yes.
Oh, we'd love to meet with you, so we set up a Zoom, and they're initiating the Zoom meeting, and when you click on it,
Yes.
you're doing access.
Yes. And once again, because unless their administrative rights have been removed from the computer, once they initiate that connection, anything that it's going to automatically do, it has full rights. If we have a client that tries to do that or install an application or do something they shouldn't, they get a pop-up that says, you are requesting to do this. Would you like to submit this request to PJ Networks? And if they say yes, then our support team gets a request. They verify that, oh, they're trying to install an update for QuickBooks, and we approve it. But if it looks weird or suspicious, then we call the client and go, Susie, are you trying to install a blah, blah, blah? And Susie's like, no. Okay, and they cancel it. So it's not, we can stay ahead of it, but there are some things that we can't prevent. I did finally find what I was looking for. Hopefully this will be loud enough for everybody to hear. Let me see if it'll play. Come on. This may sound like Phil Jaderborg with PJ Networks Computer Services, but it's not really him. He provided a 15-second sample of his voice to a program called Speechify, and this is the AI voice that it created for him to read his book manuscript out loud as part of the proofreading process. If you think I sound enough like the CEO of PJ Networks to fool you on the telephone, then you understand how dangerous a tool like this can be in the hands of hackers. Always take extra precautions whenever you receive an unusual or suspicious request from any member of our team. If you ever think that we're asking you for something out of the ordinary and you become suspicious, politely tell the engineer that you call them back, hang up the phone, and then please call our help desk number and ask to speak with that engineer. Thank you for helping us to keep your business safe. It's a program I paid $99 called Speechify. I did literally in the middle of writing the book when I did the first version. We were making a long trip to West Virginia, so I had like 4 hours each way. So I let Speechify read my book out loud. Originally, it was in the Snoop Dogg voice because that's the default, which sounded pretty cool. But then at a rest stop, I realized that I could basically it's like a custom voice, and then it had me read a little 15-second clip so it learned my voice, and then bam, all of a sudden it was reading to me in my own voice. So that would be.
What's the matter? You didn't want to listen to Snoop for 4 hours?
Well, I was after I did for an hour. It was enjoyable.
Have you listened to him, like with the Olympics? Go up front. It is hysterical.
But that's how easy it is for somebody to clone a voice, and then to fake a phone call to you. It's your cousin, it's your mother, it's your boss, it's an employee. So that message went out like 6 months ago to our clients. If you hear me or any other member of my team call you and ask you to connect into your computer and to go somewhere to do it, like to WebEx or whatever, all of our clients should know we've already got remote software installed. They shouldn't have to go to initiate anything. If we want to connect in, we let them know we're going to connect in, and we do. So if they get a weird, like, I need you to go to this website and put in this code, but that's how easy it is for people to get duped. So we're constantly running to stay ahead of them, but we can't always. So this is going to be let me see if there's any questions. That's important, notebook.google.com, notebooklm.google.com. Any questions about the first part? All the details of everything that was in there will be covered and more in the cybersecurity booklet. I did this as a free handout to our clients and for events like this, but did anybody have any specific questions about the big warnings, or was it pretty clear? Okay, I'm going to run